Ladies and gentlemen, big terror, Jools.
Hey, kia ora koutou, it's whānau. Welcome back to another holiday special BHN. So lovely to have you back, and looking forward to checking out February tonight. February is the night we're highlighting tonight, which is kind of exciting because February of the year just gone, we were at Waitangi. My wife and I got married this year, and we went on a road trip as a part of our honeymoon, and we ended up at Waitangi for 4 or 5 nights. And we got a chance to catch up with all sorts of people, met up with Tabitha Paul and Chloe Swarbrick, and had an interview with Chris Hipkins and Martima Davidson. Managed to catch a couple of other BHNers up there and had a chat with them, but also one of the highlights was John Campbell. It was fun. It was a fun interview with John Campbell. So we're going to be playing that for you tonight, seeing we're looking at February tonight. Also, Dame Jools Topp on Destiny Church and the thuggish behaviour they showed, which could be any month, let's be honest, but February of this year. And also an incredibly embarrassing moment Mike Hosking gave as a lovely gift to all of us to Christopher Luxon. Speaking of Destiny Church, I don't know if you've been checking out what's been going on in the media at the moment, but consummate racists is how I would word them. This is Auckland, not Mumbai, protesting Indian what would you call them, like parades around the country, turning up and basically saying Indians go home. Like, honestly, if you ever want to know if something is racist, then just replace the words with other ethnicities. Like, so I think in America, if it was a bunch of white people going, blacks go home, this is Los Angeles, not Soweto. Yeah, and if it's parallel, you can just tell how it's really awful. It's really ugly. And I don't know why it's being put up with. It's a disgusting thing. Huge special in the merch store at the moment. We'll tell you more about that as we go through the night. But let's kickstart off with that one, eh? Let's kickstart off with an interview we had earlier in this year, February, with Dame Jools Topp on the thuggish behaviour in February of Destiny Church. But the first thing we're going to do about the behaviour and actions of Destiny Church over the weekend is welcome to the show an absolute Kiwi icon, Dame Jools Topp. Jools, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
My pleasure.
Very excited to have you here so much. And we're going to bring Sunita in at the same time. Sunita Torrance, a.k.a. Coco Flash, friend of the show, wearing some spectacular Buffer merch there. Well done. Good to see you again.
Hi.
Okay, so with 4 of us on, what we're going to do is be quite directive here. And the first thing we're going to do is bring up the Top Twins Facebook page. Everyone can see it. After the events happened in central Auckland, Jools, the Top Twins put out a statement. We will not be intimidated. We will not stand for violence. We are vibrant, strong, beautiful and loving. We will not go away. We'd just love for you to speak to that, to tell us why you needed to post that and any other thoughts you've got around it.
We'd just love for you to speak to that.
Because when the time comes, everybody has to stand up. And
Yep.
that's what you don't shirk away when those things happen. We call it the Pride Ponsonby incident, just because we don't want to mention names. We're ghosting the protesters. And when at the end we say we're not going away. Does anyone remember Diamond Lil? Anybody remember Diamond Lil? She was the most amazing drag queen. She performed years and years and years ago, and she was produced and managed and endorsed by Phil Warren, who was the Auckland City Councillor years ago.
Okay.
And we grew up with all those things as part of our entertainment and the world of entertainment. And people flocked to see Diamond Lil because she was a drag queen. There was some respect for people's artistry, their ability to create a character. And so we were part of that in those early days. Busking on the street, there was so much vibrancy going on, and people weren't afraid of gay people. And I think what's happened now is there's this kind of fear of the unknown that's happening in the world that we need to correct, and we need to stand up and say, look, religion has gone a long way to identifying the witches and burnt them on the stake, and it ain't going to happen again. I can tell you that right now. So we need to say to the people that we're talking to and saying, there's a big difference between freedom of speech and hate speech, a big difference. And so people need to be able to feel comfortable in their sexuality. And we've always, endorsed that. And suddenly, are the protesters going to storm the stage when we come out as Ken and Ken? I mean, what is going on in the world where we can't enjoy each other's company? The gay community has never, ever, ever hurt anyone. Yeah. They've never hurt anyone by being themselves. The parade has never hurt anybody. It's full of love and excitement and vibrancy, and we just need to stand up. And because we have a dame in the front of our name, and we're, as you say, New Zealand icons, we're the ones that need to stand up and say, we're with you 100%. The gay community needs to know that the old troop is standing by them right now in 2025. And did we ever think we were going to have to go through this again? No. In the 80s, we thought everything was cool and groovy. And when it comes time, we're in strange times. The world is really struggling now to be nice to each other, and we just needed to stand up and say we are here 100% behind our gay community. It doesn't matter whether you're gay, transgender, transitioning. Sometimes the drag queen and the drag king is the safest place for some of those people to be. It's how they start feeling like their sexuality means something to them, and there's no malice in it at all. And if you see what's happening, if you look at the church and the drama that we've had about child abuse, it's kind of a bit rich that they're standing up and telling us that we are, sexually deviant of any sort whatsoever. We're loving human beings, need to be respected wherever we are and feel safe out on the streets.
Yeah, it's a strange thing as well, obviously, that we all well know of the highly publicised news story recently that a sexual predator came out of Destiny Church. But like you say, if you were to line up people who have been found guilty of these crimes, sorry, Jools, you go.
Say no more. Say no more. It's just a really weird situation, and it's what happens is it's when there's a cult, things go wrong.
Yeah. Now, speaking of cult, and you've kind of talked about the incident, Brian Tamaki has this position at the top of this church/cult. When you see this, just when you see, there is sound to it, but I'll leave it down. When you see this footage, what does it make you think and feel?
Well, I'm kind of appalled that that they think they can use the haka against us, because I know for many years we've worked really hard. We went to Waitangi every year, and the people there, they welcomed us with open arms. We slept on the marae. We were part of that whole thing, and it was we never felt like we were hated or disrespected by any of the Maori people that were at that far north. All the Waitangi celebrations when we were still fighting, the good fight way back then. So I sometimes worry about that, and I know that I stand strong with our Maori brothers and sisters The hikoi was amazing and totally non-violent, I might add, totally non-violent, but really culturally beautiful and amazing, and made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And Linda and me, we're both quite unwell still with our cancer. So we couldn't be on the hikoi, but if we had had a chance, we would have been there 100%. And so I think I was mad with Luxon because he said they went too far, but he didn't condemn them. There's a difference between saying, "Oh, you went a little bit too far," but he could have said, "You went a bit too far, but I was glad you were there." He might as well have said that. He did not condemn what was happening.
Weak.
And I just think we need to, as I said before, now is the time to stand up. Don't wait. If you need to say something, you need to say it now, and you need to be a part of this group that is saying we need to change something. And if we need to, we've found different ways of making things change now. Maybe us old girls don't want to go out and bang our heads against the cops anymore. We've done that. We've been on the Springboks tour and put our helmets on so we didn't the head with a bat. We've been there before, and maybe what we need to do now is ministers. We need to talk pretty big time to the police commissioner that says you need to make sure that gay people are safe on the street, and if they're wearing a patch, maybe they need to be in that list because they might be the most dangerous gang in New Zealand.
It's interesting you talk about like the old ones. We've talked a bit about the hikoi, and I don't know if you saw, Jools, but I put your post up off your Facebook page that supported it as well. But in the 70s, there was Dame Whina Cooper on the Land March. In the early 2000s, there was Hone Harawira and his lot on the various hikois. And now there's Eru Kapakingi and those guys doing it. And the Māori have seen that transition of. And what happens is when Dame Whina Cooper turns into 4 people in 2000, which turns into 20 people in 2024, and it's just growing, and those activists are growing and becoming more numerous. You ask, are you seeing that as clearly in the LGBT community as well?
I think what's happening in the LGBT community is that we've become more diverse. And as far as we're concerned, diversity, that's a beautiful word. There are other people in the world that don't like that word. And we have strength in our diversity. And there's been all sorts of weird things going on in the world about, we talk about sport and women in sport and the level playing field and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, what's happening is the gay community is the one place I know where your sexuality does not get questioned. It's just a safe place to be. We need it always to be a safe place to be, because otherwise where do the people go who have this, they have a drama that they have to deal with. It's not easy to identify as something that you're not or born as. So there has to be a group of people that are ready to embrace that and say, we're with you. We want to support you 100%. And I'm Linda and me have always been part of that. Support, 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 and do not judge. And as far as our music went, we had to have this saying years and years ago, it was amuse but never abuse. And when you go to see a drag show, it's never about abuse. It's about how funny it is and how beautiful it is and how loving it is. And everyone gets dressed up. It's all a big chance for this whole idea. When we go to the drag queen shows and the drag king shows, they're really a great big celebration. It's not to hurt anybody or to be political in the sense that it's trying to change someone else. We've never tried to change anybody, but a lot of people in the world who disrespect the gay community have tried to change us time and time again. They've tried to change gay men. When the homosexual law was happening, all the lesbians thought we've got to stand up because we're the next ones that are going to make it illegal. So the lesbians really stood up and fought really strong and hard for the gay boys. And the thing about that is, I don't know how many gay boys have been subjected to a conversion therapy to say, you are not gay, we're going to turn you straight again. But let me tell you something else in the same breath. You cannot make someone gay either. If they think the gay community is going to make someone gay, they are really sadly mistaken. You have it in your body to know that you're gay. It's in your heart to think, I think I'm gay. And it's something that's really personal. and really needs to be respected. And, you know, I know where I've been to some of the, you know, places where you know, the gay boys are all dressed up in their drag gear and they look amazing, right? And they're, you know, there's a fairy. They're dressed as a fairy with wings and a wand, and they've got their high heel shoes on, right? And I know kids who are scared of Santa and clowns, but I've never seen a kid afraid of a drag queen dressed up as a fairy. So let's put this all in perspective. Come on, people. It's not really about us being deviants. No way is it. It's about a group of people who see us as something that is wrong, and we're not adhering to their Christian beliefs. And we are more Christian than them when it comes to not judging people. Because the whole idea is that acceptance and diversity is what makes the world go round. And the more we look at that and feel each other's strength in that way, then we will sort things out in a much better and decent way without any violence whatsoever.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Jools. Chewy, have you got? I'm going to bring Sunita. Sunita had a bit of a problem with her headphones. I'm going to bring Sunita back in a second. But Chewy, do you want to have anything you want to aim at Jools or ask Jools?
Well, first of all, Jools, on behalf of my mother and cousin, you're an absolute superstar. They love you and the Topp twins to absolute bits and have done for years. So I'm very.
Yeah, when we're out on the street, matey, we have young boys come up to us, you know, and they've got their, you know, baggy jeans on, and they're all pretty cool and groovy, and they put their arms around us and call us Ken and stuff. And then they say, "Can I get a picture? My mum loves you."
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, really, we've had an amazing career. So yeah, give a big shout out to your mum for me and say hi.
Will do. I just think your comments about people rallying around the community and standing up are 100%. Just like the Liberians did, they stood up against this violent mob trying to shut down a kid's story time. People in the communities need to stand together, and we stand with them.
Yeah.
I'll bring
I think.
Sorry, Jools, you go. There's a bit of a delay.
I think the majority of New Zealand is with us. I feel really strongly about that.
I think you're right. And what I was going to say, Jools, is you're talking about the younger ones coming up after you. I mean, Sunita, Jools is probably on some level talking about you. You know, you run Rainbow Storytime, you support the drag community, you're a part of it. I was wondering, Sunita, do you have anything you want to say to Jools, who's been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years, and you're sort of on this journey now?
Like, legendary. You're up there with Dame Edna, my darling. It's amazing what you've done, the gender bending that you've done since the beginning of time, and it's purely and strictly Aotearoa-fied as well. Like, you have made the Kiwi bloke out of yourself, and everyone's laughed with you and at you, and that's what drag is. It's not harmful in any way. You're just creating an entertainment experience. And kudos to you guys for doing what you've done.
Yeah, and right back at you as an artist. I need to say to you, you know, you need to stay strong, because when we get a chance to entertain, and when you talk about the, you know, stories at the library, this is a beautiful thing. This is an amazing thing. And what happens is that the more you make something non-accessible, the more fear it creates. So fear is, when it comes to the gay community, we've always felt that the biggest thing is fear of the unknown. And the more that people see us, they realize that we're just like them. You know, if we get cut, we bleed. So we're just human beings that are trying to live our life and not force anything else upon anyone else, but just to say, let me live my life the way I want to. Let me love the person I want to. then what happens is we can start having a dialogue that creates some sort of respect about our differences, but we don't fear each other. So I just think that when we read kids' stories, I mean, the government is telling us we've got a terrible reading population of young kids coming through, and then they tell us in the same breath that we can't read to the kids because you're in platform shoes and you're wearing wings and a fairy dress. It's just so ridiculous. And like they said, it wasn't out on the street. People had to actually make the effort to get their kids in the car and go to the library. If they think it's R18, they're sadly mistaken. Because when someone reads a kid a story, it's reading a story to a little kid. It's amazing. It's a beautiful thing to do. We've done the only time we've ever really been mobbed was at a play centre. Because we put all our books out for the scholastic books. We write, we're singing, should be coming around the mountain and all that sort of stuff. And the kids have all learnt that song at the play centre. And they all come and grab, we're walking in with our guitars and they're all grabbing around our legs and, we've got to sit down on the mat with them and sing the song. And,
I think I was one of those kids.
Really special because all those kids, all they want to do is sing the song. They don't care what sexuality it is.
No.
They're just
They
there.
don't.
And
they're
really
in the
honest.
moment.
A beautiful moment. So you can't not keep doing this. And I hope the rest of the lesbian community, the gay community, transgender, transsexual, gay, whatever, drag queen, drag king, as many alphabetical words you can get in there. I hope we all look after each other, and I hope we back you to keep going. And then there will be a time when this will pass, and we will realise that if we talk to each other, we keep our strength, and we don't take no shit.
What a beautiful place to wrap up, Jools. Hey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It is such an honour to talk to you. I mean, it's been a blast, and I'm sure telling Sunita that you are backing them to keep going is the kind of thing that Sunita loves to hear as well. So,
and everyone listening in tonight. Well, I hope everyone listening in is really, feeling strong. And we don't want to end up in America and in a situation in America where gay people are definitely feeling unsafe. They're fearful that they're in a hostile situation. And even though they talk about diversity, that includes us. The gay people are included in that. And I think when we start to see who's being persecuted, once again, it's the gays and the immigrants. Then what happens is when you pit other people against other people in the community, that's when you start for the community to break down. Yeah. And so we just said we have to do something immediately because we need to stop this. We need to nip this in the bud. And I'm sure that everybody will be a little bit on edge. And, I was waiting with bated breath to see if anything was going to happen at the big gay out. And someone said there was more police presence at the bus stops, so people weren't going to be harassed getting on the buses and all that sort of stuff. And it was really good to hear that. But I think we need to talk to the powers that be to say, you guys need to be on our side. You need to look after us because we don't want to fight. We do not want to fight.
Just want to be fabulous.
Dame Jools, thank you for joining us. It is a genuine honour to speak to you.
Thanks, guys.
And thanks for your words. And I'm sure Sunita and others will continue the fight. All right. Thanks, Jools. All the best. You right there, Sunita?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, the wrong time of the month for this.
Can I just say one thing? Because Jools brought it up. Here's the one thing. Jools said that, Mum threw the kids in the car and they went along to the library. Yeah. Groups like Destiny Church are the ones who are constantly saying parental rights, parental rights, parental rights. Mm-hmm. And now they're saying, oh, not those parental rights. A parent or parents have decided to take their kids along to a library. They've made a parental decision. They have the right to do it as parental rights. And Destiny's still coming in going, nope, not right. So So just don't believe any of that morality bullshit that these kinds of places come out with, talking about, they're standing up for the family. You weren't standing up for the families who wanted their kids to be there. You're standing up for the families that are not like you. And it's interesting that the Māori Pacific, or Māori in particular, community is so strongly kind of identified within Destiny Church, because it's been a long time in New Zealand in the Māori community that Māori have been a sufferer of, oh, you're not like us, and have been at the bottom of the list. And now I'm not saying Māori, Destiny Church and many within Destiny Church who are Māori are doing that to another community. They've come from a vulnerable space. They may still be in a vulnerable space, and they're now bullying a vulnerable space. It's the worst kind of, it's not quite self-loathing, but you know what I mean? It's just awful.
It really is. And the fact that they're now recruiting and grooming young people, rangatahi, with this new radical youth movement. So they were at the forefront of all that happened in Auckland over the weekend, and that sickens me. That really sickens me. They're going on about us grooming children, and they're the ones doing it.
Yeah, and as we said before, if I stopped the conversation because there was a bit of a delay between us and Jools, but the point I was going to make was if you lined up 100 convicted paedophiles, how many drag queens are going to be there versus how many Catholic priests, Christian missionaries, Christian school teachers? It's like, just fuck off. I mean, honestly, just fuck off. Actually, here's a Christian virtue for you. Go and sort your own house out first before you worry about mine. Off you go, son. Hey, welcome back, whānau. And thanks to Dame Jools Topp for coming on there. I want to say a huge thanks to our patrons. You guys are the wind beneath our wings. You patrons are the reason we're able to do what we do. At the time of recording, we had over 500 patrons, which is amazing. And you guys provide for us funds that, whilst we're not against sponsorship and advertising, obviously we have yardsticks for what we would and wouldn't accept. And what the patrons enable us to do is be picky and choosy. We have been approached by some places that we've said no thank you because they didn't fit with our ethos. And in truth, actually, if we never did advertising or sponsorship, that'd be great, because that means the only people we are accountable to is our patrons and our viewers. So in saying that, thanks to where the patrons have got us so far, big year this year. In truth, we probably need some more patrons to keep us away from more advertising and sponsorship. But if you're someone who's thought about it for a while, but you've never pulled the trigger, I just encourage you to think about it over the summer break. Patreon.com/Big Hairy News. We have some exclusives for patrons, depending on what level you buy into. There's also free merch for some people, meetups, all sorts of stuff as well. Patreon.com/Big Hairy News if you want to be a part of us there. How about right now, let's travel to Waitangi, because we can. Waitangi 2025, Waitangi just gone, was February, obviously. And we had a really lovely, kind of hilarious but delightful chat with John Campbell.
Alrighty, John Campbell. Just casually walking past, thought he'd have a chat. Actually, no, I think I asked Pat earlier. Didn't he say that John Campbell recognised him? Possibly? I think that's what he said. So there you go. Somebody's watching.
I've had a chat with back on Twitter back in the day when BHN started up. So he has followed us as well. John Campbell is a personal fucking hero of mine. Just a little backstory, and I wish I still had this recording. It's so good. We called him and Carol Hirschfeld up and said, hey, can you just voice some like radio stings for our little student radio station? And they're like, yeah, sure, we can do that. We'll make a time, we'll give you 10-15 minutes. Sweet as, we'll just do it over the phone. Awesome. And then we sent through the copy and we made it as full of swear words as we could. And so we had this amazing recording of John Campbell and Carol Hirschfeld saying we're the best fucking radio station ever. And I don't know where those tapes are anymore. I would give anything to know what happened to them.
Oh, you might appreciate the end of this one then.
Okay.
Little surprise just for you. Yeah, we'll have a listen to this. I think it's about 4 minutes, but it is John Campbell, so I'm not. Time can go as slow as it wants.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
John Campbell at Waitangi, tell me about your experiences.
My experiences have been wonderful. People are always, the manakitangi you receive here. I remember the first time I came as a very junior political reporter a long time ago now.
About 5 years ago.
About 5 years ago. That's generous of you. Yeah. And I was overwhelmed by how kind people are to me. And I'm still overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of injustice to be addressed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hurt to be responded to.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of history that tells a story of things that are fundamentally shameful in many respects. And you come here expecting to be treated as if you're not welcome. And
almost treated almost as you deserve to be treated, but you're still not.
Yeah, and you're still not.
Yeah.
And so every year I come and I feel the same sense of really profound gratitude. I know people go, oh God, John Campbell, but actually I really feel that. In fact, probably more than ever, particularly at the moment in the context of the Treaty Principles Bill, and it's still the same.
It's almost like there's more reason for there to be anger, and to us who aren't maybe involved, there's not.
No, and I wonder, I mean, in part that speaks to this place,
Yeah.
and it speaks to the history of manakitangi here at Waitangi, right, and it speaks to the National Waitangi Trust. I think it also speaks to the individuals themselves.
Yeah.
It may, I think, still speak, of course it does, to the kingitanga at Turanga Waiwe last year, that extraordinary Be Māori speech that he gave, 13 months ago? It was wonderful. Were you here yesterday to see us?
Yeah, we were up here for the kingitanga.
Yeah. It was amazing,
Yeah, it was amazing.
to see her come on.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I don't know what it is. But every year I'm kind of grateful for it.
This is my first time to Waitangi on Waitangi.
Yeah.
And it's like we're feeling like, even though we have to come up from Dunedin, this might be a yearly pilgrimage.
Yeah,
this might be our Mecca.
Yeah, because there'll be lots of people watching this who may never have been here.
Yeah.
And also I think people have an understanding from the news coverage, which is essentially often about the politics, and that makes sense. I mean, at the moment, Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters is speaking right before that. So I mean, Christopher Luxon's not here this year, but what you don't get from the news coverage is the wairua and the kind of wide-eyed wonder of people. You see people who've come up from Ashburton to they're 72 years old and they've never been here before, and they're expecting something different, I think.
What we found yesterday was yesterday's event wasn't a tourist event.
No.
All the people standing around me, all Māori,
Yeah.
all joining in with
Yeah.
the words. And I realised for the first time, because when you come here as a young fella and you do the touristy thing, it's tourist. But this, even though there's markets and stalls and a huge, boat out there,
Cruise ship?
this is not a tourist event.
No, it's not.
This is New Zealand's day.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Last year was way more people.
Yeah.
And that big extraordinary scene of Tamiiti coming across, his beautiful art installation, the flags, and this kind of day, and they were fluttering in the breeze. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's because the Prime Minister's not here, maybe Treaty Principles Bill.
Is Nicky No-Boats here?
I haven't seen Nicky.
So that means number 1 and 2 aren't here, potentially. That says something, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I saw, who did I see? I saw Tamo Potaka, obviously, Paul Goldsmith, Drew Brownlee.
I haven't seen Nicola Willis.
No, I don't think I have.
Does that say something? 1 and 2 not here? Not just 1, not just Chris, but 2.
Yeah.
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 Hey, it's nice to talk to you.
Yeah, so lovely to talk to you.
You've got a real job to do.
No. I'm enjoying doing this job. I'm enjoying doing this, mate. Really lovely to meet you.
Yeah, you too, bro.
Thank you so much.
We'll have you on at some stage. We definitely want to talk to you again.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
You having a good time?
Yeah, we're having a blast. It's a honeymoon, bro.
It is not.
It is.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, driven up the road trip from Dunedin here.
Shit, how cool is
tomorrow.
that?
Yeah.
Like actual honeymoon.
Yeah, actual
Oh,
honeymoon.
fuck, that's pretty magic.
It is.
You better go and work.
Honeymoon.
We'll see you here next year.
Okay, lovely to see you. Hey, long and happy life.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Thank you, definitely.
The mythical
beans.
John Campbell F-bomb.
I
love
know.
it.
So
I
good.
love it.
Genuine guy. Any thoughts there?
John Campbell should be installed into Papa. Like, I don't know, for real or as a hologram. He should narrate the audio guide or be a traveling hologram throughout throughout Te Papa. Like if you wanted people to come from another country and have stuff to explain to you by a New Zealand, John Campbell. That is my honest held belief. I don't mean that he, like, when he unfortunately passes sometime in the future, he shouldn't be stuffed. I won't go that stage. We don't need to taxidermy the man. Just a hologram. I'll be fine with that. Oh, that's a good suggestion. Cast him in bronze.
Yep. Yep. We should remove all the colonial bullshit around New Zealand and, one of those, just replace it with John Campbell. I'd be more than happy with that.
It'd be like those statues you see overseas where people rub a part of the statue and it never, it's always shiny. And my vote is his glasses.
Ooh.
He should rub his glasses for luck, for news luck.
He hasn't always worn glasses though. It's a fairly recent.
No,
look for
but
him.
they were always. I feel like they were always there, even when we couldn't see them. Those glasses suit him very well.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. No, very, very cool. No, that was cool. I did ask Pat. I said, "Do you want the bit afterwards?" And he said, "Yeah, no, got to have that in there." That's all. At least I think
Amazing.
that's how I interpreted the message.
Like that's like if you want to see
genuine
behind
guy.
the curtain a little bit. Basically, anyone that works in radio and TV and who can't swear as a job swears like a sailor outside of it. And much in the same way that I would imagine, like, teachers, like early childhood teachers, primary school teachers, swear and drink like nobody's watching outside of school hours. Yeah. Teachers in the chat, feel free to confirm. I know. I already know, but I want you to confirm it.
All right, team. Thank you for that. We had fun in Waitangi, and I'm really excited that we are my wife and I are getting back up there for this year. We tried to organise something bigger. It got downsized. We tried to organise something downsized. There was unavailability of some people, but we need a presence at Waitangi. So my wife and I are going back up, and we'll do something similar to what we did this year gone, which is looking for interviews and sending back footage. And Emily and Chewy will be in charge in the studio. So very good. Hey, speaking of Waitangi, speaking of things to do with Waitangi, I've always thought that Tino Rangatiratanga buffer is a great T-shirt to have or sweatshirt to have around Waitangi Day. We are running a pretty massive special in the merch store at the moment. bhn.nz is the place to go to find the merch store. Click on the shop tab. And if you do that and purchase any item in the shop and then use the code XMAS, XMAS 2025, at the checkout, you will give yourself a 30% discount off anything. It means that things become $15 things become $10, $60 things become $40. So any item in store, 30% off with the promo code XMAS 2025 at the checkout. Now, I said this in yesterday's show. I'm not trying to delay this, but the mugs, the coffee mugs, are definitely in New Zealand. They're actually on my property. It's a very big job to get them up onto the store. If they're not up there yet, they'll be up there during this holiday period, and they will also be available at 30% off during this time period. So not sure if they're there yet, but if they're not, we're getting there. We'll get them there in the next few days, hopefully. But yeah, bighn.nz and visit the merch store. Let's have a look at a bit of a Christmas highlight from us from last year. It was kind of like a late Christmas present from Mike Hosking, who embarrassed massively Christopher Luxon. Here we go. Breakfast television this morning. We had a conversation with Mr. Sorry, I'm getting my brain straight. We had a conversation this morning with Mr. Luxon and Chris Chang about Andrew Bailey. Now, last night, I pointed out the very strange, repetitive words that Mr. Luxon was using the first time we looked at this. He constantly referred to Andrew Bailey not living up to his own standards. Remember that conversation from last night, Chewy? Mm-hmm. He really wanted it to be well known that he basically fell on his own sword. He made the decision. He knew what was best. This clip is 2 minutes and 52 seconds. He says that, some version of that, 4 times in this clip. We pointed this out last week with Luxon. I don't know who's advising him, but it's too coincidental not to be a tactic to say the same thing over and over and over again. And can I say one time to Chris Chang, the reporter here, why are you guys in the media not going, like I heard Mr. Luxon this morning, well, I watched it this afternoon, and I just thought, if I had been sitting there, I would have said something like, hey, Prime Minister, you're answering that in a really strange way. Why are you wanting to make it so clear that he didn't live up to his own standard? But they do nothing. They let it go. And he just goes on about, oh, you must have been a bit of ticked off because, you know, like, I don't know Chris Chang personally. I don't really know much about his reporting, but I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of the unprofessional buffheads from the bottom of the South Island being the ones that probably have the best questions for these people.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's us. You're talking about us.
You got that? That was subtle, eh? But I just, like, how you can sit in front of someone and they actually speak in a way, I mean, maybe he's got a head injury, but even that, have you slipped and fallen this morning, Mr. Luxon? Maybe you couldn't quite go that far, but we'll play it for you now, and you see what I mean. It's just very, very bizarre.
Christopher Luxon joins us now. Good morning, Prime Minister.
Good morning, Chris. Good to be with you.
Lovely to have you in the studio for a change. Before we get to that, I want to just bring things back a little bit closer to home.
Yes.
And Andrew Bailey, who announced his resignation yesterday. I mean, he's had a real shocker here, hasn't he?
Well, look, I mean, the key thing is that he identified that he hadn't met his own expectations of his own standards.
Own standards.
And he resigned to me on Friday night.
That's the key thing.
I took that resignation. I think, the fact that he, by his own admission, hasn't met his high expectations.
His own admission, his own expectations.
Is actually, he's done the right thing.
Must do your head in, though, the fact that you've had this incident last year in October when he had this run-in with the waiter and called him a loser, and you gave him a second chance, didn't you? And you said, but there's no more. You need to keep those standards. This must be doing your head in.
Well, it was very clearly expressed at the time about what the expectation.
No offense, but Chris Chang, you're repeating it. Must have been doing your head in. It's the second time he said that in 47 seconds as well. This just, I don't know. This feels like a bit performative. Like I've got to ask these questions. It's a bizarre conversation.
Time about what the expectations and the standards were. What's good is that he's recognised that he hasn't met those standards that he holds himself accountable to, and it was his decision to resign. And I accepted that resignation once.
So that's exactly the same answer to the second question, using exactly the same words. This is what happened last week. It's really bizarre.
Detailed the events quickly to me as well.
Do you think there was enough that it should have been announced a little bit earlier because you did find out last week?
Yeah, look, the timeline on this is the incident happened last Tuesday. My office found out late on Wednesday. Then there's a process where and
then my office held on to it to make sure I didn't have to announce it while the house was sitting. That was the other part that he doesn't say that quite out loud.
You need to actually, talk to the affected parties, all of the affected parties. That happened over Thursday, Friday.
I mean, let's put it this way, Chewie. This is the great CEO, yeah? Right, this is the great CEO. Imagine if one of the great CEOs, like high-level management, departments heads, had done something as egregious as potentially technically assaulting someone, and the CEO didn't find out for 4 days. You think that would be acceptable in business? Tuesday, no, Wednesday, never. Thursday, Friday. But the great CEO is telling us that this process was speedy and it was the appropriate way to do it. If I was running a business, like Mr. Luxon still thinks he is, when it's the narrative suits him, waiting 4 days to find out about potentially damaging information that might hurt my brand, I would be ropeable if it took 4 days to get me, which says to me that I'm struggling to believe that he didn't hear about it till Friday night, especially when you put on top of that the absolute gift that sends is the whole house has risen and are on a break, and Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, he doesn't have to face a fire of questions from the opposition about another one of his ministers. Chewie.
Today's interview run by Luxon is repeated again and again and again until he meets a media hero, someone who stands up against this. It's just remarkable. It's Mike Hosking. Mike Hoskings is the one to finally challenge him on this. And I'm sorry, New Zealand media, that's fucking bad. Mike Hoskings is the hero we don't want or deserve. Like, if you're leaving it to him, someone who has been a sycophant for the National Party, to finally go, this is why people have a perception problem with you. Why are you answering this very simple question that I have asked you 3 or 4 times in a row in such a weird way?
Mm.
I mean, we can watch him flail through this. I've got the Hoskings interview if we want to have a look at it.
Well, let's finish this. Right, it's only got about a minute and a bit to go, and I haven't heard the Hoskings one, so I look forward to it.
And then I was informed. Andrew called me late Friday night, and I said, "Look, take
there you go. Call me late Friday night." Yeah.
The weekend and tell your family. It was very, very late on Friday evening. And I think that's entirely appropriate. There are obviously other staff that are impacted by a decision like that. So I think we moved through the process fairly quickly and fairly well. But importantly, he's taken responsibility for it. He's resigned. I accept that. And now we'll have Scott Simpson taking over those portfolios.
How frustrating is it, though? Because you did have that incident last year and you sort of gave him that second chance.
Third time that Chang's asked this question.
And then after the cabinet reshuffle, you said, I've got faith in all my ministers. How frustrating is it for you that you've had to deal with this now?
What I can do is lay out the standards and the expectations, and then people are held to account, and they hold themselves to account. And I was pretty crystal.
Do you know what I mean? It's just weird. This is a PR decision, but I can't see why this PR decision, unless what Luxon's thinking is, I have to make sure I get this as far away from me as possible, so I'm going to keep saying it, but it comes off as staged and inauthentic. But then again, hi, welcome to Christopher Luxon.
Clear with Andrew at the last instance as to what the standard needed to be. The fact that he recognised he hadn't hit that standard and made the decision himself.
He recognised, made it himself.
Did he resign or was he sacked?
No, he resigned. That was his decision.
He
came forward to me after having gone through, been part of those discussions with impacted staff and came forward proactively on Friday evening, very, very late.
Scott Simpson's been around for a while, but...
Notice that. Very, very late. He said that twice. Why do you think he keeps telling people it was very, very late? It was very, very late on Friday. Why does he have to keep repeating that, I wonder? Is it to try and halt the question of, well, why didn't you tell us on Friday? Well, couldn't tell you on Friday. It was very, very late. It was very, very late on Friday.
Didn't want to wake you. Didn't want to interrupt anybody's dinner or their afternoon tea or their brunch.
Yeah, very, very late.
But he's now stepping up to the plate.
He'd be great.
Full faith in him?
Oh, absolutely. He's been an experienced parliamentarian. He's been a minister before. These are 2 really important portfolios. We have some real challenges in ACC to make sure that we're managing the system well. And the second part is obviously we've got a lot of work ahead of us around the commerce and consumer affairs portfolios because that's some of the key work that we need to do to get more competition into our businesses and into our sectors, which is something we're really driven about.
Now, I get that breakfast is a bit of a fluff in general, it's wake up, have a cup of tea, see what's going on. But yeah, it's like Chris Chang asked the same question 2 or 3 times and Luxon answered the same question 4 times. It's bizarre. I'm looking forward to hearing this Hosking stuff. I'm available. I'm ready for it. I'm here for it.
You're available. Okay. So enjoy. I think I've got this queued up correctly.
Can you hear it? I can't hear it, Joey. Can you hear it?
Oh, you can't hear it?
I can't hear it, but it might be me.
Chat, can you hear it?
No, look, chat, but no audio.
Okay.
You can send me the link if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that. Sorry, chat. I'll remove that.
Just put it in the chat. I'm waiting.
There you go.
Thanks, man. I can see that.
All right, that was a bit of an abortion, folks.
And it was about 3:56. You're right. I saw the time.
Yeah.
I'll just come in here.
Own standards, and that's his decision. So,
actually, we should probably get him saying that again because it's important to lead into.
Who presumably you at one point thought was good enough to be a cabinet minister.
Look, honestly, he was doing a very good job, making good contributions in 2 very technical portfolios. I'm sure Scott carry that on. But look, the reality is you've got to have some standards, Mike. And, I watched the last lot go through a series of ministers, and it wasn't either clear. It was clear in this case, and importantly...
do you really think you should be blaming Labor at this minute? I mean, like, honestly, do you think that's going to go well? I mean, really?
He recognised that he hadn't met his own standards, and that's his decision. So I respect that. And
would you, because you've got yourself in the usual trouble with you being too nice, would you have sacked him if he hadn't offered to resign?
Well, hypothetical, he did resign.
No, I know that, but just answer the question.
Well,
would you have sacked him?
Well, he didn't meet the expectations of the minister.
So was it a sackable offence?
Well, I think given how clear we'd been on the first instance about
why can't you just answer the question?
Yeah.
Well, see, this is why you get yourself reputationally in so much trouble. Would you have sacked him? Yes or no?
I can say to you, he didn't meet the expectations I have of ministers.
So you would have sacked him?
I didn't need to because he resigned.
Oh my God. What the fuck is going on?
Isn't this insane? Isn't this insane? It's such an easy question to answer. It would be a phenomenal thing for, like, he wants to be seen as a decisive leader, someone that's got the stones to make that decision. He could come in and he could just go, it's lucky Andrew Bailey resigned because I was going to sack him. That's how you feel it.
So listen, Occam's razor.
He's got his pet interviewer going, come on, man. Like, how much do you want me to set this up for you? All you have to say is, yes, I would have sacked him. It doesn't have to be a hypothetical. It doesn't have to be like, oh, it doesn't matter because he resigned. The question is, would you have sacked him?
Occam's razor is the fewest number of assumptions to get to an outcome. Why won't he answer this? What's the most likely reason he refuses to answer this? Because you're right, it makes him look indecisive. It makes him not look like a leader. It does nothing positive for him. So why won't he answer this? What's the most logical reason? Because I'm struggling to think of anything other than he's very, very bad at this.
It's baffling. Like, very, very bad at this is definitely at the top of the list. The other thing is that there's somehow some part of this that is worse that hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
It just doesn't. I can't think of a single reason why he is flubbing specifically this interview.
Yeah.
Like he did the same on Breakfast. He did the same on RNZ. It is very clear that he has been given his talking points for his media circuit, and that's just been drummed in that we're just going to say the same lines. He doesn't have the intellectual plasticity to sort of go, oh, maybe I should change my tack here because old Hosco here is just lining up a nice fucking just pop it in for me, and I'm not gonna say it because at the meeting this morning they said don't come off your talking points because you're bad if you come off your talking points.
So here's the thing.
Baffled by this.
Yeah, here's the thing. I've taken it back about 15 seconds to get some more of this. We'll push play in a second, but here's the thing, right? What he's saying to us, you've just said it quite well, Chewy, that he won't come off his talking points. Now think you've got the leader of the country in situations internationally, talking to world leaders, making deals who can't come off as talking points. Like, what kind of leader has to stick to a bad script? Like, what kind of leader can't go, okay, we've got this idea. I was down for the idea, but it's not working right now. So I need to have the skill and courage to go a different path with this. And in this instance, the skill and courage is to go, yeah, I would have fired him. That's all. That's all.
It's right there. Like Hoskins is pretty much just holding up a piece of card saying, say that you would have fired him. That's what you need to do. And it's being ignored. Like the frustration in Mike's voice towards the end of this is palpable.
All right, let's get back to it. I've gone back about 20 seconds just to get this in all its glory again.
I know that, but just answer the question. Well, would you have sacked?
Well, he didn't meet the expectations of the minister.
So was it a sackable offence?
Well, I think given
Mike even says to him, "So yes, you would have," and then he still does. He still
doesn't get it.
Mike even says to him, "Yes, I would have." So you're saying you would have? He then doesn't go, "Yes." He still doesn't say it, even after Mike Hoskins tickles the underside of his testicles and says the answer that he needs, he still won't do it even then.
How clear we'd been on the first instance about what
Why
the
can't you
expectation.
just answer the question? Well, see, this is why you get yourself reputationally in so much trouble. Would you have sacked him? Yes or no?
I can say he didn't meet the expectations I have of ministers.
So you would have sacked him?
I didn't need to because he resigned.
See what you're doing here? I don't.
Well, no, but you're talking about a specific case, right?
Yeah.
Would
you have said? Look,
have I done a good job of laying down expectations of my ministers?
Yeah, but
yes, crystal clear.
But the next step is really simple. If he hadn't, I'm glad he offered to resign, because I tell you what, if he didn't, I would have sacked him.
He wouldn't have met my expectations as a minister.
Why are you saying it that way? I don't understand.
Yeah,
well, that's what I mean.
I've worked on Mike's show when I used to fill in on the breakfast producing, the technical director for a guy Glenn there who's his full timer, and it does feel nice to actually, now he's saying what we've been saying. Why are you being so weird? That's what he's basically saying. You know that theme through the left in America of Republicans are just weird, and then they dropped it and they lost. He's being weird. This is just fucking weird.
Expectations as a minister.
Why are you saying it that way? I don't understand.
Well, that's what I mean. If he hadn't resigned, I would have made an intervention. I would have actually
why is made an intervention. I would have sacked him.
No, but there's an issue here, which is
what is it?
No, but the issue is that most importantly, the standards are really clear of my ministers. They know the standards I operate within.
And if they don't live up to that standard, I will fire them. That's the sentence.
He'll make
whenever we have personnel issues, I think we've acted incredibly decisively. But what I'd say in this case is I laid down after the last instance crystal clear expectations. He reassured me there wouldn't be another incident. He knew there was an incident. He then actually made that decision himself. It didn't meet my expectations. It didn't meet his.
Count how many words you're using to explain this. This is why you're in trouble in the polls. People want something decisive. And so, look, if you wouldn't have sacked him, say so. Either way, I don't care. But people want from you, the Prime Minister, to go, this is my expectation. I'm glad he resigned, because if he didn't, I would have sacked him.
Well, that's exactly what has happened here, though, isn't it? I mean, like, he has resigned, and I said to him, he hasn't met his own expectations, which is important, right? I want ministers to understand. I saw examples where ministers didn't know what the expectations. He came to his own conclusion. Fantastic. Good on him for doing that. But are you the sort of person that would have sacked him? I think you've come to that conclusion. I think you've seen me act very decisively on personal issues. That's something I've done all my life. You know, it's critical.
No, that still doesn't answer that. I don't want to get bogged down on this.
Yeah.
Why,
Michael, please get down on this. Please get bogged down on this.
No, that still doesn't answer that. I don't want to get bogged down on this.
Yeah.
Why can't you be decisive enough to simply say, I would have sacked
in this case,
or not?
In this case, he resigned.
I know
if that hadn't happened, I would have then been involved with that and would have made a decision to say that he didn't meet my expectations, and that would have
which would have led to what?
It would have led to him losing the role anyway.
So he would have been
demoted and
demoted.
The ministry would have been taken away.
Right, sacked.
Yeah. Well, you would. Yeah, you can call it sacked.
You've made a complete meal of this.
Man, that'll do. Holy shit!
It's very clear at the end there that he does not, for whatever reason, and there's no reason that I can divine, does not want to say sacked.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, he's going up to that, like, there'll be an intervention. I'll be decisive. He'll have his ministry taken away. All of these things. And it's like, yeah, but most people just call that sacked, right? I wouldn't use that word. It's just weird. It's like Hosking, Luxon's in the ocean. He's gone down 1, 2, 3 times. He's about to go down for the final time. And Mike Hosking has got tired from throwing him lifelines. The next one's a brick, where he goes, this is why people don't like you, dude.
Well, in that scenario, it's a brick, because actually it would be better for the rest of New Zealand if you had just fucking drowned and got yourself out of there. Okay, there's two things, yeah? All I can think now is, you imagine other world leaders seeing this, seeing what our Prime Minister is made of and how he fits. And the other thing is, and I won't say who it was, I might have said it in the past, but I won't. 2 elections ago, when Jacinda was running, where they swept and got a landslide, got the majority for the first time ever under MMP, a very well-known, high-profile female comedian who I was interviewing said to me of the vote, why would I vote for a very average man rather than this exceptional woman? And I'm just reminded of the words, and it wasn't Luxon, right? This is talking the one before. I'm just reminded of the words very average man. And some of the wordsmiths we've had, back to David Longy and beyond, that were brilliant orators, that would just, even if you weren't on their side, you're in awe of the language that they used. I can smell the uranium on your breath. And now we've got this fucking flub who doesn't know, or for some reason thinks he shouldn't, say, I would sack him. But he'll say everything else around that. It's just, I'm actually a little bit in shock. That's actually equal mix of hilarious and terrifying that waste of fucking space is the leader of our country. I challenge you, national voters, to tell me what you saw in that. What you saw in that conversation for the guy you put in charge.
So next time he brings up national strong leadership, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the kitchen. I want you to make yourself a nice cup of tea. Leave the tea bag in there for a while. Stir it. Enjoy that cup of tea. Put the jug back on. Leave the tea bag in the cup. Make another cup of tea. Drink that. Put another jug on. Use that same tea bag again. And that is the strength of our leader. A piss weak, third time round tea bag on the edge of its life. That's what people voted for. Fuck me. That is shocking.
It is shocking. It is actually shocking is the correct word. It is utterly shocking.
I shouldn't be shocked by this at this point. We've always pointed out that his corporate word salad, his boardroom Scrabble vocab was always going to come back to him. It's always seen as inauthentic. It's just bizarre.
No. He looked like a fucking moron in that conversation. Forget the CEO talk. He actually looked stupid. He looked like he didn't have a fucking clue how to communicate. Like, okay, so he's been given the words from the 9th floor from his PR team, but he looks like he was too dumb and too stupid to see what was put in front of him and the need to change his messaging. He couldn't see it. He's too much of a moron to see. And by the way, Mr. Luxon, you're always welcome on. He's too stupid to see that he needed to have some kind of, what did you say before, plasticity, and actually move with it, because he was digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And then he got to the bottom, and for some reason, he dug deeper again. It was just, I'm a little, honestly, I think that I agree with you, Chewy, that he's bad at this for a long time, but I never would have imagined that bad. Like, I never, if I was making a skit to try and exaggerate all his, what I would say to you, that would have been the skit, not the reality. Thanks, team, for another exciting best of show. That's it for us. Remember, 30% off at the merch store using the promo code Xmas2025. That'll be going through the summer period. And that's us for tonight. Tomorrow night, Bloody Samoan, Michael Mulipola is joining us. Well, did join us, because tomorrow is March. Tomorrow is March highlights. And he was talking about the role he played helping bring charges against some of the Destiny Church affiliates, shall we say, who stormed the Te Atatu Library. Also, Christopher Bishop was on Q&A asking if if National's policies were increasing homelessness in New Zealand. We'll have a look at that. And also Simeon Brown telling doctors whose job it is to speak about public health that they can't speak about it, apparently. Doctors are told to be shush, says Simeon Brown about public health, which is interesting to say the least. Thanks for joining us tonight on this Christmas special, whānau, and we'll catch you tomorrow night. Hooroo.